Okay, this is Math Spiral Review 6 for Block 2. Yes, sir? Well, that's going to make it a challenge for you to get it done, isn't it? Okay, so you should have a highlighter and something to write with. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to put when this is due. It's due Friday, September 17th. That's this Friday. That is 4 days from now. Again, I'm encouraging you to turn it in on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Miss Canterbury or myself, sometimes even Miss Amswell, will check it for you, and then we will help you with some that you don't understand. And most people who are turning it in early and then correcting it and asking for help are getting 100% on it. This should be an easy A for you every week. Okay? So, first I want to look at the directions in this number sense column. The first set of numbers is rounding. It says round the following numbers to the underlined place value. So, do you have a question? You just so look like you have a question. Okay, I see a couple people who don't have their mask on. The difference between you and me right this second is I'm like 6 feet back and recording, so I just did pull my mask down, but you're not. So you have to keep your mask on. Thank you. Okay, so the first step in rounding is to underline the digit in the correct place value column, and they did that for you, which is so nice. The second step is to write down all of the digits that come before that number. The third step is to look at the judge or the digit to the right. It is a 2, so that means I'm going to let it rest. I'm going to leave it a 9, and then the judge and every digit after it become zeros. Okay, so you're going to complete the next 2 in the same way. Okay, then we are looking at this one number, and we're answering the following questions about it. Who can read that number out loud for me? Eloise. Yep. Very good. Let's all read it out loud together. 256,937,875. So the first question says to name the place value of the underlined digit. Whatever we're going to put there is going to be followed by the word place. The second one asks you for the value. That's going to be a number, and it needs to be written as a number, not a word. Then we're going to round to the underlined place value. And then we're going to name the digit that's in the hundreds place. What is the relationship between the 2 7s and the number? Write the value of each digit along with the relationship. So this is not going to be 10 times greater. Okay? So you need to say the value of the first 7. I'll make a fill in the blank. The value of the first 7 is blank. The value of the second 7 is blank. Well, that's a problem, isn't it? There you go. The first 7 is then the second 7. Okay, and you need to be able to fill in those blanks. Okay. Then these are adding and subtracting. Just make sure, I'll move it back for you. The nice thing about the video is you can pause it. Isn't that nice? Make sure you're paying attention to the symbol, okay? And then our division. Draw a model. A model needs to show that you have 47 items divided into 8 equal groups. And then you'll need to show the remainder. Okay? There will be a remainder. In 4th grade, we do not use decimal points in division. We use a remainder. We don't use fractions in division. One of our 4th grade standards is to be able to interpret the remainder. That means we have to tell how the remainder impacts a question in a story problem. And we can't do that if we don't have a remainder. So we have to make a remainder. Some of you are asking your parents to help you, and they're having you divide out, and they're having you put decimal points and add zeros. That is not how we do it in 4th grade. In 4th grade, we come up with our answer and we have a remainder. In our model, we need to show 8 equal groups. Okay, now you should be able to think through this. 8 times what gives me a number close to 47 without going over, and that's what's going to go in the circle. And then you're going to count up to 47 and make your hatch marks for your remainder. Okay? Multiplication, is it 6 groups of 8 or 8 groups of 6? 6 groups of 8. So if you do repeated addition, you need to be adding the 8s. Okay? If you're doing groups, you need to make 6 groups. If you're doing rows, you need to make 6 rows. Okay? And don't forget to put the answer in the blank. Okay, on the back, write the symbol that makes each number sentence true. Okay, 3/4 and 1/8. You're welcome to come up and use the fraction pieces. Okay, there's a couple of strategies. Here's 1 whole. And then you can do 3/4. And you can compare that to 1/8. Which is greater, 3/4 or 1/8? Which is greater, 3/4 or 1/8? 3/4. Guys, look at the image. 3/4 is much bigger than 1/8. Okay, so there's another way to do that, and that's by finding a common denominator or an equivalent fraction. We've been practicing equivalent fractions, right? Okay, I need to find an equivalent fraction that has an 8 in my denominator. 3/4 is equal to how many 8s? 3/4 is equal to how many 8s? Do we need to do our chant? I think we do, and I appreciate your enthusiasm. Let's go. To find an equivalent fraction, multiply or divide the numerator and denominator by the same number. So what would I multiply this denominator by to get 8? Colin? 2. So 4 times 2 is 8. Then I need to do 3 times 2, which is 6. Now I have 6/8 and 1/8. Which one is greater? 6/8 is greater, okay? So you can find a common denominator. You can use the fraction pieces. You can visualize, okay? You can use a benchmark fraction, 1/2, 1 whole. Those would be benchmarks, okay? And try to figure out greater than, less than. Here we're finding equivalent fractions. We just did the chant. I'll do one with you. I'll let you pick which one do you want me to do, Haley, the top one or the bottom one? This bottom one? Okay, so they gave you a denominator. 12 times what is 48? 4. 12 times 4 is 48. 8 times 4 is? 32. So 32 48ths is equal to 8/12. Okay, which number is 801,000 greater than 2,645,000? So you're just going to add. You can add a 1 here and you can add an 8 here, or you can write it out and add it. Okay, name the shaded part of the fraction. Okay, once you have the shaded part, you're going to say, what is that equal to that we know as a decimal? Okay, this shouldn't be real hard. Okay, what is the fraction here? What's the fraction here, Landon? 9/12. Now, what is 9/12 equal to that we know how to put in decimals? What is 9/12 equal to that we know how to put in decimals? Deacon? 3/4. See the picture? It looks like 3/4, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, it could also be 3/4. Also, look, we've divided. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. We just divided the numerator and denominator by the same number. Now you should be able to tell me 3/4 is equal to what decimal? Okay? Okay, in this number, who can read this number for me? How do we say this number? Rowan.
826 and 5300.
Very good. Everyone say it together. 826 and 5300. Answer the following questions about the 5. So what is the place value of that 5? What place is it in? Riley? The 10th place. It's in the 10th place. So what's the value? What's the word form? It's reminding you to put a hyphen in between numbers that are less than 100. Okay, area and perimeter. We have this very complex shape. Okay, hint. You may need to decompose the shape into 3 rectangles. What does decompose mean? What does that word mean, decompose? Cooper? Break it apart. So we're going to draw a line here, and we're going to draw a line here. Now we need to know the length and width for each part of the rectangle. I want you to use your highlighter. For this one, this is a length, and this is a width. For this one, this is a length, and this is a width. For this one, we have this length and this width. Okay, so there's kind of a little mystery here. Where is the unknown side? I know the length and width for this. I know the numbers. I know the length and width for this. What am I missing over here? What do I need to figure out? Gemma?
We need to figure out how long the top of the third rectangle is.
Well, this is what?
6.
6. So that is also 6, but I don't know this. I don't know the length from here to here. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, how can I figure out the length from here to here? Olive,
You can do 6 minus 2.
how did you come up with that?
Because over there is 6. And then there's 3.
Right, look up here at the screen. This entire line here is 6. That means this entire line is 6. So if this much of it is 2, what is this part? 4. So it's 4. So your length and width for this middle rectangle are 6 and 4. Now, when you go to add the perimeter, so you need to find the area here, the area here, and the area here. When you go to add the perimeter, how many sides are there? Count them off with me. How many sides are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 sides. And you need to make sure that you are adding 10 numbers when you're adding up that perimeter. 10 numbers. And they need to be the outside numbers. You're not adding up any of the inside numbers. They have to just be the outside numbers. Okay. Use a ruler. Some of you are using a ruler maybe, but then you're letting the ruler move on you while you're trying to write. You have to hold it firm. Okay, they're perpendicular and parallel lines. We've been doing that. Look at the picture. Here's perpendicular. This is your blue sheet that you should have in your folder, your math folder. What do you notice about their perpendicular lines? Tell me some things you notice. Yes.
There's a right angle.
There's a right angle. What else do you notice? Riley?
It's a plus sign.
It looks like a plus. What else do you notice, Carter?
There's
There's arrows on the lines. What else do you notice? Marin?
It's straight.
They're straight. Lindy?
Under a cross.
Yep. What else do we notice?
They intersect.
They intersect. Good word. Yes, Eloise.
You can make a box.
That's our 90-degree angle. Here's what I want you to notice. They each have 2 points and 2 letters, and the letters go with the points. You can't have letters without points, and you can't have points without letters. Okay? Here's our parallel lines. There's a mistake here. Tell me the mistake. Where do you see a mistake on these? Lane.
They're tilted?
No, they can be tilted. What's the mistake? I just said it. Cooper?
They don't have points.
No points. So let's correct it. Okay, those points should not be there. Those letters shouldn't be there. The letters have to line up with points. And when you draw yours, the letters have to line up with points. And we have to use our ruler. Okay? Okay, problem solving. Complete the table. Let's look at this one together and do some cube strategy. Sandra and her parents were harvesting watermelon. The first hour, each family member picked 10 melons. The second hour, I have a feeling we're going to need to be keeping track of first hour and second hour. Each family member picked 12 melons. The third hour, they each picked 14 melons. If this pattern continues, it's a pattern, that's an important math word. How many hours would it take them to have more than 150 melons for all the hours they worked? Okay, so Sandra and her parents. How many people are in her family? How many people? 3 people. Sandra and her parents is 3 people. So in the first hour, they each picked how many melons? 10. How many melons is that total? 30. So altogether on that day so far, they have picked 30 melons. In the second hour, how many melons did each person pick?
12.
12. How many melons is that for the family?
36.
Okay, how many melons does that make for hours 1 and 2?
66.
Okay, in the third hour, they each picked how many melons?
14.
How many melons is that for their family? 42. How many melons does that make all together?
108.
108. 66 plus 42. Okay, now what's the pattern? You have to figure out the pattern, finish the table. It will take Sandra's family blank hours to pick more than 150 melons for all the hours they worked. Okay, do you have any great questions about this? Anyone have a great question? Okay, should you wait until Friday to turn this in?
No.
Okay, you should turn it in early for a pre-check.